Hello and welcome to What the Hey, where I'm your regular host of What the Hey, and today on What the Hey, I'm once again answering yet another question. When I go into the Magical Composition Book of Knowledge, I see the question of what the hey is 9/11? Now, this question was asked by Mr. 2007, so hello to you and thank you very much for the question. Now, as far as a basic description is concerned, 9/11 is usually in reference to the 4 different terrorist attacks from the Sunni Islamist organization known as Al-Qaeda. 9/11 is otherwise known as the September 11th attacks. So Al-Qaeda basically had its members hijack 4 different planes that had departed from northeastern United States airports. Now for this section of the video, I'm basically going to describe where the different planes ended up. Now 2 out of the 4 different planes crashed into the north and south towers of the World Trade Center in Manhattan, New York. Now, most people, when talking about the events of 9/11, will usually mainly focus on the Twin Towers. One of the other planes crashed into the Pentagon, which is in Arlington County, Virginia. The last plane out of the 4 actually landed in a field in Pennsylvania because actual other attendants on the plane who weren't hijackers decided we're gonna mess up the hijackers' plans because that plane was apparently destined to go to Washington, D.C., which probably also would have turned out really horrible. Now for this section of the video, I'm going to give basically the 2 main reasons why Al-Qaeda did this against the United States. One of the main reasons why Al-Qaeda did this against the US is because the US has supported Israel, which is a whole big problem with Al-Qaeda. And another one of the big reasons was because the United States has had stuff against Muslims for a good amount of its history. So that was another big reason why Al-Qaeda was we're gonna do this horrible thing against your country because we don't like you. I was in one of my United States history classes, and it was September 11th, and usually on that day, if you're in the US, your history teachers will usually show you and tell you stuff that happened on 9/11, but we basically watched a video that was just kind of a short documentary on all the stuff that happened that day, and I thought it was very interesting because usually when you think about 9/11, you think about the Twin Towers. So it's just kind of interesting because it's stuff also happened at the Pentagon and stuff also happened with that other plane crashing in a field in Pennsylvania. But I do think one of the main reasons why a lot of people think of the Twin Towers when thinking about 9/11 is because there were a lot of people who died because of that situation. Plus, the World Trade Center was a very important and big landmark for the United States. So to have that happen was very detrimental, I suppose is the somewhat right word. It's also very interesting to me because when you go back and watch documentaries and old recordings of September 11th, and when the first plane landed into one of the towers, news media was what's going on? We have no idea why this happened. It could have just been a mistake, a very crazy mistake, but nonetheless a mistake maybe. But as news teams were recording the whole event and the second plane crashed into a tower, allegations and things against certain people were going all over the place. And then it was found out that it was a terrorist group. So that was crazy. And usually assignments that you get when doing research on 9/11 have something to do with asking someone who is actually kind of there or they were watching TV when it happened and ask them what they thought about that. So if you know anyone who remembers that, definitely ask them about it because it's very interesting to hear it from different people. And I've actually been up to New York and been to the memorials and stuff to remember 9/11. And it's very interesting, and if you're ever in the area and you've never seen them or you've seen them before, definitely just go again because it's a good piece of history. It's not good, but it's a piece of history nonetheless. I did not write this down, but if you go to the memorials of 9/11 where the Twin Towers were, there are plaques with names, and sometimes when you go there, you'll see white flowers or flowers sticking in little holes beside certain names. I believe that's because people have the dates of when their birthdays were, so the people that passed away have flowers put by their name to remember them by, which I think is very interesting. But that's essentially the answer to the question, so thank you very much for watching, and if you have any questions, let me know and I'll try to answer them as soon as I can, so thank you very much for watching. Bye!